Today we remember Norman Stronge, soldier, politician, Lord Lieutenant of Armagh and a Justice of the Peace, and Ulster Unionist Party member, who was murdered along with his son James by Irish Republicans 40 years ago today. Sir Norman was born in County Down in 1896, and at the start of the First World War he joined the military to serve with the Enniskillen Fusiliers. He served throughout the war and he fought on the first day of the Battle of the Somme. He was the first soldier to be mentioned in dispatches after the battle by General Sir Douglas at Hague. He went on to win the Military Cross and the Belgian Croix de Guerre. Late in the war, he was wounded and he relinquished his commission in 1919. Sir Norman then went on to have a long political career of well over 30 years. He was originally the High Sheriff in Londonderry in 1934, before being elected to the Northern Ireland House of Commons in 1938. In the outbreak of the Second World War, he again enlisted in the military to serve his country, a service which is proudly continued within the Ulster Unionist Party today. At the end of the war in 1945, he became the Speaker of the House of Commons in Northern Ireland, a position he held till 1969 when he retired from frontline politics. He was a proud member of the Loyal Orange Order and the Sovereign Grand Master of the Royal Black Institution, as well as a Knight of the Order of St John. On retirement, he moved back to farm his land at Tynan Abbey. On the 21st of January 1981, Sir Norman was at home with his son watching television when around 8 Provisional IRA terrorists attacked his home, gaining entry with grenades. In an act of savage barbarity, both Norman and his son were murdered. Their house was then set on fire, in keeping with Irish Republicans' ethnic cleansing of the border areas. Sir Norman Stronge was 86 years of age. James was 48. At his funeral, people attended from right across the island of Ireland and from Great Britain. The cap and sword of the Lord Lieutenant of Tyrone was placed on his coffin, his own cap and sword being destroyed in the fire. His coffin was carried by members of the Royal Irish Rangers, while James was carried by members of the Royal Ulster Constabulary. At Sir Norman's funeral, Her Majesty the Queen sent the following message. "I was deeply shocked to learn of the tragic death of your father and brother. Prince Philip joins me in sending you and your sister all our deepest sympathy on the dreadful loss. Sir Norman's loyal and distinguished service will be remembered." In contrast, Gerry Adams, the leader of Sinn Féin, was reported to have said, "The only complaint I have heard from nationalists or anti-unionists is that he was not shot 40 years ago." Thankfully, this was not how nationalists viewed this, and Austin Currie of the SDLP summed it up best when he described Sir Norman as having been, even at the age of 86, still incomparably more of a man than the cowardly dregs of humanity who ended his life in this barbaric way. The Ulster Unionist Party remember our former colleague, Sir Norman Stronge, and James, in the words of the poem by Michael O'Donnell. "And in that time when men decide and feel safe to call the war insane, take one moment to embrace those gentle heroes you left behind. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them."